Yes, 2 units of 5, 1 unit of 6. The may or may not have Vanguard, we'll come back to that. We have 2 units of 6 Forsaken, 1 unit of 12 Forsaken. They are Khorne, so they get Hatred, Devastating Charge, not Devastating Charge, Furious Charge. That's the core. Then 3 special, we've got 3 Dragon Ogre Shard attacks with great weapons. So 4 attacks each, 4 wounds, strength 7. 2 Nurgle Chariots, as they are. Here at Lords, we've got a level 3 on Demonology on a chariot. No, sorry, no, it's this one here, sorry. There's a wizard, that's a chariot. And then we have a Dragon Lord, and the Dragon Lord's got the Ogre Blade, the 2 Favours of the Gods, Enchant Aura. So he's got a 3 up, 5 up, and multi-wounds D3.
And always strikes last from the
And
Aura?
gives everyone always strike last from the Enchant Aura. Yeah.
So then the Beastmen list. So in the core, we've got 12 Gore with a standard and a champion, 5 little piggy chariots, 5 dogs, and 10 Ungors with warbows. Into the special, we have 5 Centaur with a standard. And the rare, we have the Cygor and the Gorgon. And for the 2 characters, we have 2 level 4 Bray Shamans. The one on the left is on Elementalism, and the one on the right is on Demonology, and the one on the left is the General. And that's it for the army lists. So let Steve talk through his deployment.
Yeah, so we set the dogs out. 3 units of dogs, 2 on this flank, 1 behind the woods because they got moved through cover. We kind of just spread out because the MSU, the same as Andy's army. Got chariots holding the flanks. Got the big unit of Forsaken in the middle. That can take a charge. The wizard's here to counter his wizard because I've got the Infernal Puppet. That makes him roll 3d6. 2 little units of Forsaken that I can fly up with Seed of Shadows, hopefully. And the dragon in the center because he always goes in the center. That's his job.
He's not going to die turn 1, is he?
No.
I think has he ever died turn 1? There's not enough artillery now that does the damage in the game.
I think I've got it.
He's died to 1 Iron Blaster that hit him 3 times in a row. There you go. You don't have to say the point of shooting out here.
So Beastman deployment. So we've got a normal chariot with the General's chariot on the left with some dogs. 5 Centaur, 1 of the other chariots, Gorgon in the middle to give him options. Probably not the dragon if I can avoid it. The other level 4 with the other chariot. 1 more Tuscarora chariot supporting the Gore. The 10 little archers, and then 1 chariot over on the right flank with the Cygor at the back, seeing what he wants to shoot. And then we'll roll for first turn with Beastman getting +1. So 7 for the Beastman.
It's cocked, I'll re-try. Now you go first.
You can keep re-rolling it if you want. So we'll come back at the end of Beastman movement. So end of Beastman movement phase. So a bit of shuffling on the left with the wizard using mystical pathways to get out in front. Shuffling in the middle, Gorgon and the wizard staying outside of the dragon's charge. The 1 chariot feeling a bit brave. Repositioning in the back with the Ungors and the chariot slowly edging forward on the right. And we'll come back after some shooting. So end of Beastman magic and shooting phase. So the Cygor threw a rock at the Lord, but slipped and dropped it on his head and took a wound. The Ungor bowman took some shots at the Dragon Ogre, but hit twice but didn't wound. The wizard had slightly more luck. Viletide only did 2 wounds to the dogs though, and they fell back just behind the unit of Forsaken. Fireball did nothing. Did you dispel Fireball?
Yes.
Yeah, Fireball was dispelled.
yeah.
And then Wind Blast took off the other unit of dogs, and the Chariot then failed his leadership, staying on the board just.
2 milli. 2 milli.
And that is the end of Beastmen turn 1.
Start with the dragon. He was going to charge the center ghost, but he was 19.0001 millimeter away, and Andy wouldn't let us because he's a cheat.
So he's going to play with all the big guys.
He's standing in front of the wizard, so the wizard can't get impact hits, and he's risking a flank charge from the Gorgon. Gary. Is it Gary?
Yeah, Gary and Colin.
Gary and Colin, yes. So then we've got Dragon Ogre charged the chariot, which held. Got 4 Sagan who are moving up to hold the middle. Dogs and Dragon Ogre who are coming up to bother the Ungor. Chariots who are having to stand off for 6 rounds.
Because no one wants to get charged.
Over this side, the wizards went up within 15 inches of the Gorgon, so you can magic missile them.
Mm-hmm.
Dragon Ogre's blocking the center ghosts. He's just moved up. The chariots moved up. Instead of shadows, I flew 6 Forsaken up, right up to the wizards, so kind of blocking him up so he can't get his impact hits. And the other chariot stuck behind him, so hopefully he can't get his impact hits. We'll see. And that's it.
We'll come back after a very short shooting phase. So Warriors shooting. Didn't do much.
Try to cast the summoning on the center ghost because the skirmish that Andy's just told us, even though they're in an open order configuration.
Even though you were told by.
And he told us in the beginning, and he told us last time we played, but I totally forgot. So I failed to summon on them, but I put the Vortex of Chaos next to them, hoping it scatters through them and takes a couple out so they don't get to kill my Forsaken. And that's it for shooting.
And then we've just got the one combat.
One combat, yeah. So the combat, yes, Dragon Ogre hit 3 times. I hit twice, sorry. Wounded twice, and he saved 1. Then the Gore, the best of Gore did a wound back, and then the Stomp did 1 wound, which was saved. So it's sorry,
because you
it's a drawn combat. I saved the wounds, yes. So yeah, so it's a drawn combat, close order, 1 wound. Yeah, thank you.
And that's it for Chaos turn 1.
Yep.
So end of Beastmen turn 2 movements. We did Eye of the Gods on the level 4 who got +1 strength and leadership this turn. 1 chariot charged in to the Dragon Ogre. Senegor, having lost 3 of their unit to the Vortex.
Yay!
Charged into the Forsaken. The dogs lost to
3 to the Vortex.
Invade after that. Then killed 3 of the dogs who are fleeing towards the back.
Yeah.
The general uses mystical pathways to get away from the Forsaken unit. In the middle, as I think it's a fun game, but Steve doesn't agree. The Gorgon, the level 4, and the normal chariot have gone into the dragon. That combat's still ongoing. Gore attempted to charge into the dogs, needing double 4 because dangerous terrain, but didn't get it. Ungor backed up a little bit, and the other chariots wheeled slightly round, giving the Chaos Chariot a 6 on the charge. And we'll come back after Beastmen shooting. So end of Beastmen shooting. Cygor threw a rock at the wizard, scattered a full 10 inches back towards Steve's board edge, so it went nowhere. Ungor Bowman shot and chipped 1 wound off the dogs. Wizard did slightly better with his magic this turn. Viletide taking off 4 of the Forsaken. Fireball not casting, and then miscasting with Wind Blast, but didn't wound himself. And then he's got his Elemental Spirit Vortex sitting between the Chariot and the Forsaken. And that is it for Beastmen shooting. So end of Beastmen turn 2 combat. The Chariot went through the Dragon Ogre, but was 1 inch short of joining that combat. So there's anyone had to fight on their own. Didn't do any wounds, but only lost 1 back. So drawn combat with the standard. The Dragon Ogre Chariot combat continued with me losing 1 wound to a stomp. Neither was doing anything in actual attacks.
So it's a draw.
And the Dragon in a challenge with the level 4. Killed the level 4 just, took his last 2 wounds off via a stomp. But lost 4 wounds. in the combat from the wizard. I think 1 from demonic familiars, wasn't it? And 3 from actual combat. So he died, and then dragon restrained and turned to look again at charge.
By 1 because of close orders and
did win it on 1.
Yeah.
And that is end of Beastmen turn 2. There you go.
Dragon charged the general. It was only about a 15 charge, so the general decided to flee.
Needed 13 to down the board and went 14.
So he ran off the board like a coward he is. So that's good.
Back to find another hag tree fish.
Yes. So because of that, I thought I'll charge my wizard in. I'll give him demonic vigor, which gives him +1 movement, +1 toughness. Because I don't really need a dragon to kill a gorgon. Wizard can do it. This combat continues, obviously. 2 charges over here. The dogs and the dragon ogre went into the ungors. Ungors stood and shot, but didn't do any wounds. And then I needed a 6 charge for the chariot off, and he got a 6, and he got in. The Forsaken tried to charge the other chariot. They needed a 6 and only got a 4, and that's all the charges.
The 2 Forsaken,
2 Forsaken needed a 6 to get into the chariot. They got a 5, so they didn't get in.
And that is it for end of your movement.
End of movement, yes.
You've got no shooting, have you? Because everything's in combat.
No. So it'll just be combat next.
So combat.
You ready?
Yeah.
Left hand side, the chariot went in, did 2 wounds from impact hits. They both fluffed their attacks, and the Beastman chariot
rolled an 11 on his break test.
Yeah, and rolled a 9 to run off the board. Yeah. So I held it as just restrained. Then the dragon ogre and the dogs went in
and surprisingly killed
6 ungor. The ungor fled. They fled 2 inches, which was a good flee, and I ran them down, thankfully. The dragon ogre eventually got through the other chariot. He did 2 wounds. He hit. Then he overran and reformed to look at the flank of that chariot.
Mm-hmm.
The chariot went in against the gorgon, and he did...
Failed your fear test, which didn't help.
Yeah, impact hits 2, didn't do any wounds, and then he failed the fear test, didn't do any wounds. The gorgon missed all 5 attacks.
Killed, did 1 wound on a stomp?
Did 1 wound on a stomp.
So we sit there.
But the chariot's probably going to come in the flank next time. And the other combat, the 6 Forsaken managed to kill the Centaur, and they've overran into the chariot.
And that's it
all the combat.
Chaos turn 2?
Yes.
We'll come up for Beastmen 3. So end of Beastman's movement. Chariot on the left charged the 2 Forsaken. Chariot in the middle charged the flank of the sorcerer. The Gore went into the flank of the big Forsaken block. And the Cygor just moved up a little bit to get at the charge arc of the Dragon Ogre and to throw a rock down at the Chaos Lord. And that is it for movement. There is a little bit of shooting from the Cygor and then combat. So end of Beastman combat phase. Gore won combat by 1. But 2. By 2, but stubborn on the Forsaken meant they fell back. Good order. And the Gore followed up. Over there, 1 combat. Did a few wounds to the wizards. Double 1 on his leadership test.
Yes, he was down to leadership 5 or he was fleeing. He double 1, so...
And then over there, strangely, the Centaur got butchered. And then Forsaken passed to restrain, so they get their hatred again. Get to charge into the chariot.
Yeah.
That chariot went through the Forsaken, but then rolled double 1 for his overrun. And that is it for Beastman turn 3.
So the Forsaken and the chariot charged the other chariot. The dogs were going to march, did a march test to come and block, but they failed the march test, so they're just standing there to block in case the combat goes horrendous. Dragon came to watch the combat here, see if the wizard can earn his chaos powers.
That's got help now by Dragon Ogre.
He's got help by a Dragon Ogre, and he also has +1 strength of his Gears of the Gods, so that does help. This is ongoing. The chariot just marched up to see what's happening. Dragon Ogre's just gone around the side, and the dogs charged the Cygor, because dogs are the best, and they're going to kill the Cygor.
Anything is possible. And then with no magic from the wizard, really, straight into combat.
Straight into combat, because my magic's all shut down. Okay, so that combat was the Forsaken and the chariot against the chariot. The Forsaken and the chariot won. The Beastman's down to 1 wound, and I lost 1 Forsaken. Forsaken couldn't follow up because the dogs are kind of blocking them turning. Second one was the Dragon Ogre and the Wizard against the Gorgon and the Chariot. Dragon Ogre managed to do 3 wounds and a regen, and the Chariot did 1. Got the Gorgon down to 1 wound.
Yeah, chipped a couple off the Dragon Ogre.
Yeah, he ran 5 inches, and they both chased him.
So he was very much dead.
We did the timber test. We weren't sure whether you do the timber test on a over and catch, but we did. He took 1 wound off the Wizard and made 4 saves, which was very lucky. And the other Chariot managed to run a massive 3 inches.
Yeah, so he's just stumbling.
And this one, the Gore charged 11 Forsaken. They did 6 wounds, and they did 7 wounds, and I saved 1 on a 5 up, 5 up.
Yeah, it wasn't the best dice rolling.
And I ran 10 inches, and the Gore chased 5 inches. Yeah. So he's going to charge us next round.
And the only other one was the Cygor.
And the dogs.
Killed 4 in combat, and then stomped the last one.
Yeah, he killed all the dogs.
And the dogs didn't do
And he overran towards
wounds.
the Chariot.
And that's it for Warriors turn 3. So Beastmen turn 4 movement. Chariots charged into the Chaos Chariot, needed a 12 and got 13. The Gore charged into the fleeing Forsaken, who fled again. Gore then failed their charge and just stumbled into dangerous terrain. Chariot failed to rally, went into dangerous terrain and lost a wound. And then the Cygor charged into the flank of the Chariot. And that is it for Beastman movement. We'll come back at the end of combat. So Beastman combat, Cygor went in, lost 2 wounds. 1 from the horse and 1 from the crew, I think.
Yes, 1 each.
And then did nothing on his hits, but then did a wound off his stomps. So drawn combat there. Over there, the Chaos Chariot did its impact hit, took the 1 wound off the
Did 2
Beastman.
impact hits, did 1 wound, yes.
The Beastman one did 3 impact hits.
Yeah.
Then rolled triple 1 to wound. Managed to get 1 wound through from the Bestigor.
Yeah.
On in return. 1 combat, but give ground, but there is literally no room to give. So they will stay there. And we go into Warriors turn 4.
4, yeah. The dragon charge into the flank of the second last remaining Chariot. The Forsaken and the dogs just turned. These Forsaken rallied, turned and moved forwards. Put some pressure on these, get the Gore revenge. These both tried to charge into the flank of the Gore. They needed 6s because I got Demonic Vigor off for the extra movement. I think they rolled a 2 and a 5, so they couldn't make it. And the Dragon Ogres came around to try and help the Chariot. And there's going to be no magic because I tried to charge and upon.
So just 2 combats.
So combats, yeah. So the dragon charged into the Chariot, did 5 wounds and killed it.
Yeah.
And the Cygor
lost 1 wound to your
lost
crew.
1 wound, took 2 wounds, hitting on 5s, rerolled 6s.
Did you get 4 6s?
Got 4 6s, rerolled them into 2 5s and wounded. And he's decided not to chase because he's going to chuck a rock at
have reformed that
the
way.
Wizard in his turn. So yes, so I fled, but I only give ground, sorry.
Yeah, with all the wounds coming from stomps, because that's the only play he gets.
Yes.
XP.
Every 2, yeah.
And then we're back for Beastman turn 5.
Yes.
So Beastman movement phase. The Chariot failed to rally, trundled through, did pass his dangerous train this time. The Gore backed up, but lost 1 in dangerous train. And then the Cygor just moved up, ready to throw a rock at the Sorcerer Lord. And that's it for Beastman movement. So Cygor threw his rock, slight scatter, but still hit the Wizard, but then rolled a 1 to wound him. And that ends Beastman turn 5. Charges in the
Yes, so
mess.
Forsaken charged the
Chariot.
The Chariot fled 3, but I rolled a 1 to charge, so I didn't make it. The Dragon charged the Gore fled.
They did pass the Terror.
They did pass the Terror, which was unfortunate because I could have then charged them with the Chariot. They fled, and I redirected into the Chariot, and I only charged 3, so I moved forward 3. Everything else is just moving around, so the Chariot's sitting here ready for the Gore to feel the
Rally test.
and keep running, and the Dragon Ogre is ready to get the Cygor. And nothing else worth moving.
No, and that is Warriors turn 5 movement.
Oh, shooting. The wizard decided to cast the summoning on the Cygor.
Chose this turn to get double 6 for
Double
his cast.
6, then he got 7 hits and did 4 wounds.
So took the last 2.
Unfortunately, it's a dead Cygor.
Mr. Cygor.
So,
and that's it for Warriors turn 5. Come back for Beastmen 6. So Beastmen turn 6, the Gore did rally, but the Chariot again, 3 turns in a row now has fled, which will give up some points. And that is it for Beastmen turn 6. So Warriors turn 6 movements was a grand total of the Wizard.
The Wizard turning to cast a spell on the Gore.
And then we'll roll for the spell now if you want.
Yep. Summoning. Okay.
Is that cast?
No.
Nope.
Oh, you only level 3.
Yes, it's only level 3.
So that is end of Warriors.
Turn
Turn
6.
6.
That's
We'll
it.
come back for a little recap.
Yes.
So end of the game recap. What's next for the Warriors is the vast majority of the Warriors.
Yeah, they lost a
Missing-
Dragon Ogre, 2 units of dogs, and a Stick of Forsaken. So, yeah.
Should probably have been 2 units of Forsaken at the Gore. Ran a bit better, but they shouldn't have also done that many wounds to the Forsaken, to be fair.
Killing the whole front rank, 6.
Almost killed the Wizard, down to a couple of wounds. Dragon Lord's down to 6.
6 wounds, yeah.
And then the Beastmen Survivors is the Lone Chariot and 10 Gore
But the Chariot was fleeing.
was fleeing. So
Yeah,
Beastmen gave up 1,981 points with all the bonuses.
And the Warriors give 250.
So a win for Steve.
Slight win for
He
the
gets his
Warriors.
revenge for Derby.
Yes.
Woo! But that's it. But I hope this report will come up sometime in September, probably. Will come out on the channel.
I expect it up next week.
Good luck with that. But no, thank you very much, Steve.
Cheers, Andy. Really good game.